Now, many of us might have felt the force of Storm Ashley over the weekend, and there are more high winds to come.
One way to reduce the potential for damage is to remove dead or dying trees before the storms arrive. Our reporter Becky Bowden has more.
Strong winds and freak storms causing damage to homes, travel disruption, and posing a real risk to life. This is something many of us worry about during stormy weather. People living on this street in Hull know it all too well. A tree fell onto this car during Storm Lillian back in August. This team in Hull is one of 3 that work daily to identify the trees at risk. They check its health, cut branches back, and look for decaying wood.
Weather is getting stormier and windier, and therefore we have to be even more on high alert. What this proactive work does is make sure that trees are safe, and it reduces the number of branches that come down in storms. But also it's about keeping areas clean and tidy.
Craig leads the team that make these trees safe. He says removing them, though, is usually the last option.
So today we're carrying out a cram reduction on this tree. We're reducing it down to 11 metres due to the severe dieback and dead wood in it.
And how important is this work that you're doing here?
It's important for obviously for the residents that live in these houses, because obviously they can rest assured that none of the dead wood's going to fall out this winter and damage any of their property or any of the vehicles which could be parked under it.
Looking after 60,000 trees across the city isn't straightforward, especially with autumn being a particularly dangerous time.
Autumn time with full leaf is the worst time of the year for us. If the ground's wet, then the roots can't hold on as well, so we do get more that come down.
So what do you say to people when trees have come down in the storm and they say, why didn't you sort it earlier on?
The quick answer would be we're not all seeing all doing. You're only seeing the ones that are due to be done, or nature has just taken an extreme gust and, you know, it happens.
The crew hope all their work will prevent any destruction that bad weather and future storms may bring. Becky Bowden, BBC News.
How prepared is the capital for the impact of severe weather? Residents in Richmond were left in shock earlier this week after a section of the Thames towpath was washed into the river in a torrent of rainfall. Today, environmental campaigners told us that Londoners need to take action before it's too late. Rags Martel reports.
There used to be a path here, but it's been washed away from the strong tide of the Thames. It happened at the weekend. This footage shows the moment just after the collapse.
That is crazy.
Stopping bemused runners in their tracks, grateful they hadn't been swept away themselves. This riverside path links Richmond and Kew along the Thames in West London. Walking along it now, this is what you encounter. The path ending at a precipice.
How important is this path to you?
No, I mean, this is a route into the city. So, yeah.
It's not recommended, is the official line.
This commuter tried to make a crossing before retreating.
Do you need a hand?
And getting back on his bike, returning from where he came from.
It's very impressive, and I know that the river does flood. No, it's nature doing its thing, isn't it?
And it's not just paths being swept away. The RNLI downstream at Chiswick rescued this floating car.
Boat hook's a good call.
Luckily, it was only parked close to the river.
Half a metre.
And was empty.
Permission to come aboard?
Come on, sir.
Thank you.
At the lifeboat station, they've never been busier.
Chiswick this year is the busiest year ever since we started in 2002. We're up to about 316 shouts this year so far.
And adding to the high tides, the heaviest rainfall in a generation.
City of London was the wettest since around about 2000, and Greater London was the wettest. You've had it in September since 1975.
Further down the Thames, we meet the campaigning charity River Action.
Are you surprised seeing the towpath in Kew being washed away like that?
When we see heavy rain and we see a high tide, then the chances of this happening. And so we will increasingly see this as weather gets more extreme due to human-induced climate change.
Richmond Council say they're investigating the situation and looking for a solution, but in the meantime, they're asking people not to cross the flooded area, as they say it isn't safe.
For now, though, this link between Richmond and Kew has been cut off until further notice. Rags Martel, ITV News.